What it do, y'all? Bread Tuck Rob, Bread Tuck Gang forever. This is the Bread Tuck Legacy Podcast. This is the Bread Tuck Legacy Podcast, man. I am your host, Bread Tuck Rob, man. Christopher Robinson. Y'all know what it is. I'm also a published author. Grab my book, man. Defeating the Struggle, Journal Entries of a Conqueror. Defeating the Struggle, Journal Entries of a Conqueror. That thing is available on Amazon right now. You could get that ebook or you could get that paperback, man. But y'all know what it is. Check this out, man. You know the young lady I recorded that fire podcast last week with my homegirl Unique from the Broke B Word podcast, man. Her information will be in the information box here. But check this out, man. We recorded an episode earlier today, man. And that thing did not record. I recorded it on on Instagram Live, man. But when I hit share for it to share with everybody, for some reason it didn't share, man. I take full responsibility because what I was gonna do from that is after it shared, I was gonna record it, strip the video, and take the audio and upload it. But I mean, y'all don't care about that part, man. Just know that I dropped the ball on the podcast with me recording with Unique. So that's my fault, man. The podcast you're listening to right now is supposed to be the podcast with Unique, and that didn't happen because I had a mishap on that one. Let me sip to me having a mishap, man. Drinking my tea with the stevia, unsweetened tea, man. I don't drink sweetened tea because people be heavy-handed with the sugar, man. I'm not trying to die like that. Man, I sip my beverage on y'all, man. And as of right now, man, I got my app going. I'm looking at my app on Instagram, man. It shows me who's blocking me, who unfollow me and all that, man, because I live by certain rules and codes, man. The only people I'm going to follow who aren't following me back are celebrities that I'm interested in. If you're a regular, everyday, working person, I'm not finna gas you up, fam. I'm not finna be one of your followers and you not following me back. So you don't have the same privileges as like Beyonce or Jasmine Sullivan or Elle Varner, or Lupita, or or Will Smith or Dave Chappelle, man. If you're not them and you're a chemical engineer, I'm not gonna be following you and you not following me back. I don't play by those rules, fam. Yeah, man. But check this out. Let's get into the heat. Let me sip one more time on y'all. Check this out, man. Oh yeah, like I said, man, I got that app going, man. I gotta see who blocked me, who unfollowed me, so I could get them out the paint, man. It is important to get people out the paint. It's just important to get people out the paint in 2019, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think we let too many people hang around who shouldn't be hanging around, man. And I don't understand it, man. We bring these things on ourselves, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. We bring these issues on ourselves because we just let people hang around and they shouldn't be hanging around. So get people out the paint in 2019, man. But check this out. Let's talk Beyonce, man. Earlier, I got an alert on my phone that Beyonce signed to Adidas. And the first thing I thought was, wow, that's major. Beyonce signs to Adidas. I look at that in the same manner as LeBron signing to Nike or Jordan signing to Nike. You're talking about people with heavy influence, man. In my mind, Beyonce is the female Michael Jordan, even though she doesn't play a sport. In my mind, Beyonce is the modern J Michael Jackson. You're talking about somebody who has influence in the black community, in the gay communities, other cultures, man. Other cultures everybody looks at her as Superwoman. Check this out, man. I went to a Beyonce concert, I want to say back in like 2009 or something. It was around the time when she had Single Ladies. What album was that? I think that was the Sasha Fierce album. So what was that? Like 2008? I went to the concert and I'm thinking, man, you know, she gonna come out after Solange or somebody gonna open for her. Man, I tell you what, man, them lights dropped and she carried that whole thing by herself. Well, of course she had backup dancers and everything, but I'm saying she didn't have anybody opening for her, man. And she came out and did her own thing. She held that thing down. And I'm talking about, I'm in there. I'm a straight man in there singing every word. You had women in there, of course, singing every word. You had gay people. Man, there was an old Asian couple sitting like on my row. So she has influence on everybody, man. So her signing to Adidas is something major. Why is this? Because she's going to have, you know, people going to be putting on her merchandise, man. And she owns that clothing line, Ivy Park. Now, she started that clothing line with the guy that owns the Top Shop, that clothing line. It's like the Top Shop store. I see it in the Galleria. I've only been in there one time because their clothes aren't for me, man. They're in the same vein as like Forever 21, man. This past yesterday, I was in Forever 21 with my daughter, man. My daughter's 6 months. Now, the only reason I was in Forever 21 is because I walked in the mall through Forever 21. When I pulled up to the mall, I just parked somewhere and it was in the Forever 21 spot. So I walked through there with my daughter and I looked around. I said, let me find the men's section. Man, I was in and out of there, man. But Top Shop. Now, to my understanding, the Top Shop guy, I read about this and I forgot. The Top Shop guy either made some crazy comments that could have been racial, or I don't know why I'm forgetting this, or he did some sexual misconduct or whatnot. But either way, Beyonce was like, hey man, look, I can't stand next to this. Let me go ahead and buy that other portion from you, and I'm gonna do this Ivy Park thing myself. So in saying that, Beyonce signed a deal with Adidas and they're gonna revamp the whole Ivy Park. She's gonna get a signature shoe and everything. This is major because I think Adidas is already a top player. You know, they have Kanye, you know, they're doing their thing, but I believe that Beyonce is gonna give them some extra clout, man. Now here's something interesting. Now, I don't know if y'all remember, or if y'all know this at all, but Adidas bought Reebok, you know, like years ago. Just like Nike bought Hurley and Nike bought Converse. But Reebok, supposedly an article I read, Reebok reached out to Beyonce. They had a meeting and everything. They had a presentation to show what the products could look like. And had they signed Beyonce, I think this could have been a major move for Reebok because, I mean, I don't know the numbers on Reebok. I don't know what they're doing, but all I know is they're not a top player in the athletic market like they used to be. They used to make the uniforms for the NFL before they went to Nike, but now the only thing Reebok really has is I think they sponsor the UFC and they have J.J. Watt from the Houston Texans. And their main thing is I think they focus on like CrossFit. But I remember when they had Allen Iverson, you know, they were kind of making a few moves here and there. And check this out. Allen Iverson signed a lifetime contract with Reebok. And sometimes he'd be wearing Jordans, which is nuts But either way, that's neither here nor there. But I think that, man, Beyonce could have really lifted Reebok up. But supposedly, what I read, man, Beyonce was sitting in the room with the presentation, and she looked around and she was like, "Is this the team I'm gonna be working with? Man, it ain't no black people in here, ain't no representation of me. Man, I'm out." And Beyonce supposedly left the meeting. And if that happened, man, shout out to Beyonce. Kudos to Beyonce for a couple of reasons, man. Beyonce ain't gonna let you play her, man. You got Katy Perry with these shoes that that got blackface on them. You got Gucci doing blackface stuff. You got these other companies doing this crazy stuff, and Beyonce like, nah, y'all not finna have my company looking nuts out here. With this cancel culture going on, y'all not finna have me looking nuts out here. Let me sip on that. And Beyonce dipped and signed to Adidas. Now, of course, Reebok is they're disputing that, or they're saying, nah, man, that didn't happen. We actually had multiple meetings, but Beyonce went to Adidas or whatnot. But that didn't happen to where we didn't have any representation. But shout out to Beyonce on that. Now I will say this. Now at one point, Swiss Beats was like, he had a top position with Reebok. I wonder what happened with that. I guess when they moved in a different direction, they started focusing on the CrossFit. They kind of, I guess it didn't make sense for Swiss Beats to be there anymore. But you got Jay-Z is at Puma. He's making moves at Puma. Man, why didn't Beyonce go to Puma? You got Rihanna over there. I mean, maybe Beyonce wanted to do her own thing. I don't know, but shout out, man. I would like to see, what I would like to see? I wouldn't mind seeing like Rock Nation kind of being, having a partnership with somebody so that we could get to the merchandise, man. Because to get the Rock Nation stuff, you have to order that online, and it's already expensive on top of having to pay for the shipping and handling. And I be wanting me one of them Rock Nation fitteds, man, but I don't want to order it because my head is shaped crazy, and you have to, man, I gotta try on the fitted. Like I wear a 7 3/4, but I can't just go buy any 7 3/4. I gotta try that thing on, man. But shout out to that, man. And also, before I get off of this subject, I also found out that Puff doesn't own, he owns a minority stake in Sean John, man. Cause I went to Macy's and grabbed me a Sean John shirt, and I was all proud and everything. And I'm like, man, let me look this up and see if Puff still owns Sean John. And I found out that in 2016, he sold the majority of his company, man. So I was kind of disappointed in that, but maybe that was the move for him. But shout out to Puff, man. Shout out to Jay-Z. Shout out to Beyonce. I'm all about people making moves major, man. But as y'all know, man, as it transitioned to my next topic, Defeating the Struggle, Journal Entries of a Conqueror. Defeating the Struggle, Journal Entries of a Conqueror. Available now on Amazon. Grab the ebook. Grab the hard copy, man. But that thing is available. It's on Amazon right now, man. $14.95. It'll change your life. Or $9.95 for the ebook. It'll change your life, man. Support your fellow entrepreneurs, man. And I dropped a video recently on Instagram saying to support people who do the same thing that you do, man. Check this out, man. I was in the Baybrook Mall yesterday in Houston, close to Galveston, pushing my daughter around, man. And this brother rolled up on me. He had a bag. He said, hey, man, I got these new hats. I got these new T-shirts. I was like, nah, fam, I'm cool on the hats and T-shirts. And I was prepared to move around. But then he pulled out a book. I say, oh, wait a minute. Man, it was a big old, that book was 500 pages, man. And the brother was like, man, look, I wrote this book myself. It took me 5 years to write this book, man. While my friends was going out, I was sitting at home writing this book. And I was sitting listening to him and I'm thinking, man, this guy's talking, like I'm listening to my thoughts. So I'm like, man, let me get this book, man. He was like, you grab the autograph copy for 25 or you could just grab the regular copy for 20. I say, man, let me get that regular copy, bro. But he signed it for me anyway, man, and I invited him to my event that's coming up. Speaking of my event, man, True Ambition 2, Rebuild the Black Wall Street. True Ambition 2, Rebuild the Black Wall Street, man. If you're in the Houston area, next Saturday is going down, man, in Cypress. The information will be in the description box, man. But True Ambition 2, we're going to have free adult beverages. We're going to have some light snacks, and we're going to have some incredible content, man. So if you're in Houston, Texas, make sure that y'all pull up, man, and be in the building for that, man. True Ambition 2, Rebuild the Black Wall Street, man. Check this out, though, man. Last Sunday, man, we lost a great, man. Rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle. Rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle. And that brother dying, man, I realized how much of an influence he was for me. I had already known while he was living, but man, this one hurt, fam. This ain't one of them deaths that you just be like, oh, that's messed up, then you move on. Nah, man, this one gonna sting a little bit, man. Nipsey Hussle was killed last week, man. He was in front of his store. And I read an article saying that he was waiting for this guy who just got out of jail to come okay, excuse me, I'm getting distracted a little bit because I'm gonna get back to the Nipsey Hussle thing. You know what? Let me finish this and I'll get back. I'm talking about Nipsey right now. I apologize, Nipsey, but he was waiting on this brother who had just gotten out of jail, and he was going to get him some clothing. Because, you know, when a brother just gets out of jail, he needs to be fitted, you know. So Nipsey Hussle has the Marathon store, and he was going to put the brother in some clothing, man. And this cat that was in his crew, man, he's known to be a snitch. You know, I'm just going off of reports, man. And Nipsey was like, hey, man, you got out of jail too soon. I hear you out here snitching. Man, I need to see your paperwork. So supposedly the guy got upset. He went, got a gun, came back, shot Nipsey 5 times in front of his store, then shot him in the head once, man, and kicked him and all that. There's a video on this. I can't watch stuff like that. I can't watch. I'm human. I can't watch videos like this. And Lauren London was reaching out to Nipsey on Twitter like, hey, I've been calling you. Where you at? Answer the phone. Pick up. And then there's this video, another video I can't watch. Now I'm hearing about these videos of Lauren London running up in the hospital to find out that Nipsey Hussle died. It was just nuts, man. And I can't believe people recorded this, man. Everything doesn't have to be recorded. Folk be pulling out their phones, and it's just too much, man. Let people be human, man. Let people mourn and grieve in private, man. Everything doesn't have to be recorded. But Nipsey Hussle left behind Lauren London, his children, and he had other mothers to his children, I don't want to say baby mothers, but, you know, whatever, to his children. And Nipsey Hussle had created tech programs to help bridge the gap between Silicon Valley and the kids in the hood who would probably never have these opportunities. He was a great example of a man. When you talk about a black man, he wasn't one of them brothers that was just, hey, man, black people should do this, do this, do this. Nah, he was living by action. The dude loved his black woman. He took care of his kids. He was helping out his community, man. He was showing street cats a different way to get money, man. Great example of a man, man. And I watched this video where Nipsey Hussle was talking about this burger shop that he used to go to when he was a teenager, man. Him and his homies would go there. And in the burger shop, they would remove the seats because the owner just wanted you to come in, buy food, and leave. And Nipsey was like, man, what's this? They don't respect us. So eventually, Nipsey bought the burger shop, and now that same guy had to pay rent to him. Or excuse me, he bought the strip center that the burger shop was on or renting from, and now that guy had to pay rent to Nipsey. That's a beautiful thing, man. But one way that I know Nipsey inspired me, man, was Nipsey had put out the Crenshaw mixtape, man. And he had 100 mixtapes. Let me get this right. I forget whether it was $1,000 mixtape or $100 mixtape. If it was $1,000 mixtape, he had 100 mixtapes that he was selling for $1,000. If it was the $100 mixtape, he had 1,000 mixtapes that he was selling for $100 each. But either way, he made $100,000. And I remember having a 4-hour conversation outside of a Chili's at darn near 3 p.m. talking to a guy about how this inspired me. And I began to have this running theme where I talk to other creators and ask them, what's your $100 product? What's your luxury product? What could you put your name on right now and say, hey, man, I'm moving this for top dollar, and I know and I expect people to spend on this because this is quality. This is something I put my all into, man. And I just have to shout Nipsey out because that inspired me as a creator, man. And it also inspired me to let cats know that, hey, man, my book, the price is what it is, and that's final, man. If Nipsey can get $1,000 or $100 for a mixtape, I could charge you $10, $15 for this book. I remember when I was moving t-shirts, man, my t-shirts were $15, man. And this brother told me, man, these should be $8. And it was insulting because why would I allow you to tell me what my value should be? That's not happening, man. Get out of here. If you don't want to buy it, I got to get you out the paint. But rest in peace to Nipsey. And his funeral is going to be at the Staples Center. So I believe the LA Clippers' last game before the playoffs is Wednesday. And they're going to make arrangements for Nipsey HUSSLE to have his funeral there in the 21,000 seat arena, man. So rest in peace to Nipsey HUSSLE. His legacy is going to live forever. He is our Selena, man. For black people, he is our Selena. When we talk about Selena, man, I remember when Selena died, I didn't know of Selena. A lot of black people really didn't know of Selena like that. But when she died, Hispanic culture made sure that we knew who Selena was, and that's what we doing with Nipsey, man. Here in Houston now, Nipsey's from LA, man. Here in Houston, Trader Truth had a memorial for him, and a bunch of people were there. It was just a beautiful thing. I think they did one in Miami, Atlanta. Man, Nipsey HUSSLE will be missed, and he was respected, and he'll live on forever, man. And we're gonna make sure that he lives on. Let me sip for Nipsey. That's good, man. But before I get out of here, man, y'all forgive me, man. While I was talking about Nipsey, I got an alert on my phone that said Kofi Kingston beat Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship. Now, I don't watch wrestling anymore, but for people who watch wrestling, you know that a black man is rarely the champion. And if he is a champion, it's The Rock, somebody who could be ambiguous, who could be different cultures. Like, if you watch that movie San Andreas with The Rock, now The Rock in real life, he has a black dad and a Hawaiian mother. But in this movie, he had a white wife with white children. And I'm like, what? But, you know, The Rock is one of them ambiguous characters. You know, you could have him be a black guy, he could be a white guy, or you could just not say his race and he could be assumed to be a white guy. Or you have Booker T, who was a champion, who was a black guy, dark-skinned black guy, but for him to become a champion, he had to fake like he was this English guy with an English accent. It was ridiculous. But to see that this guy, Kofi Kingston, it's this dark-skinned black guy from Jamaica, he's now the WWE champion. I was just looking at that and I was like, wow, because that rarely happens. So I'm gonna have to tune in to Raw tomorrow night, man. But I'm not gonna spend too much time on that because y'all don't care about wrestling. But y'all know what it is. This is the Bread Tuck Legacy podcast. This is the Bread Tuck Legacy podcast. Grab my book, Defeating the Struggle: Journal Entries of a Conqueror. Defeating the Struggle: Journal Entries of a Conqueror. Available right now on Amazon. And also pull up to my event, man. Pull up to True Ambition to Rebuild the Black Wall Street. True Ambition to Rebuild the Black Wall Street. Information will be in the description box, information box. And the event's free, man. Just pull up, man. If you care, click on the link. You know, if not, tune into my next podcast, man. But y'all know what it is, man. I do this for Nyla. I love my family. Bread Tuck Rob, Bread Tuck Gang, forever H-Town all day. Y'all mucho take it easy.